Hello and welcome to Art Den. This is where we meet artists who live in Kirklees and the surrounding area. They tell us about their life as an artist and their sources of inspiration, and we gain an insight into their passion. My name is Judy Hinchliffe, and today we have an exclusive interview with Matty, a talented and widely known local artist from Brighouse, West Yorkshire. Matty has a very distinctive and vibrant style. He has exhibited his paintings and demonstrated his artistic techniques in a wide range of places and carried out many commissions. Join us as we delve into Matty's experiences as an artist and discover the stories behind his artistic journey. Hi, Matty.
Good morning, Judy.
Thank you for joining us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great stuff. How would you describe your artistic style and what techniques do you use?
I've got a very eclectic style really that's developed over the years because I started off when I was young really using what was originally then poster paints and watercolours. I remember when I first won my first little art competition, I went and bought some poster paints. And then when acrylics began to become more apparent, I began to use those because I started off doing very, very detailed, almost architectural, technical, mechanical paintings. I used to be very much into trains as well, did mechanical subjects and buildings and things. So I enjoyed doing the architectural side of things. Then later on moved on to pastels. So I like using the chalk pastels for a lot more looser work, that type of thing, you know. But, you know, I'm not a purist in anything really. I'm sort of probably now become a mixed media artist. I'll sort of work with anything really to get the particular technique, but I love oil, pastel, anything that's around and about I'll have a go with.
Nice. So, what subjects do you like to paint and where do you find your inspiration?
I love painting virtually things with colour. I love my sunsets and contrasty scenes, light on water, anything really that's inspired with places that I've gone to. You know, I originally started, my dad was very much into photography and he got me into using a camera, and he was always said, you know, he'd never go anywhere without a camera. And when I was younger, I started taking my own photographs around town and things like that, around Brighouse where I grew up, places that I'd known. So I love doing local scenes, floral scenes. There's a very nice park in Wellham Park in Brighouse, which I love doing the floral scenes, which work well with pastel as well, you know.
Nice,
so
lovely.
anything and everything, whatever takes my fancy, and when I'm travelling around as well. And I always like to work for my own photographs, you know, because you've experienced the place then as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love anything and everything I'll have a go at.
Yeah, it's massive. Lovely. What challenges have you faced in your life and how has art helped you to overcome them?
I think really, when I was at school, I was always very quiet and sort of introverted. Maybe sort of stems from a bit of a lack of confidence, that type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I think the thing with art is it's always something that you can do. It's something you can do on your own, you know, as well. It's not really a group activity. And I suppose really it helped me sort of give myself a sense of purpose because I've never had to worry about having a hobby. Mm-hmm. I'm never bored. And the ironic thing is now that art has actually turned the other way around, because although I started off doing it very, very, you know, solitary, later on now it's allowed me to meet loads and loads of people. That's so great. It's really sort of brought that, especially with the art clubs that I've been a member of, you know. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's given me that confidence and given me that focus, and I can honestly say to people, I'm never bored. There is always something you can be doing. You know, you can sometimes get fed up of painting, but you're never bored. You know, sometimes you can have a bit of a break. You know, but yeah, it's given me that focus, and of course, you know, I'll never really know what it would be like not to paint pictures. So it's nice that it's always been something that's always been there. You know, right from when I was younger. You know, so it's given me that focus of always having something to keep myself occupied and an interest as well, you know, to be visually aware of places. You know.
Lovely. Yeah, thank you. That's great. Yeah, smashing. Thinking about your finished works of art, can you describe a painting that makes you feel proud or happy? And can you tell me why it makes you feel that way?
Yeah, well, we can turn to this one, these two ladies who are sat with us here. And this makes me happy because it takes me back to right where I very started. And we lived in a little house on Crossley Street in Brighouse, and it was one of those communities where it was a terrace street, and everybody knew what everybody else was doing, you know. And my mum, bless her, who was on the right in the blue, she was always very sort of supportive of me, you know. And my gran, bless her, as well, on the left there. She always used to come down and watch me painting, you know, and watch me doing all my coloured pencils then as well, and felt tip pens. And that was our little yard at the front of the house.
Lovely.
And on that little window ledge there, when I first started, when I was sending off photographs, because there was no digital sending things off then, you all had to send, you know, proper photographs to places. And I used to balance them on that windowsill. To take a photograph of them. Within about 5 or 10 minutes of balancing something on there, one of our neighbours, bless him, Mr. Eric Burkett, used to come up. Oh, what you been painting? What you been doing? You know, and oh yeah, I've been doing this. You know, and everybody showed an interest in it, and that just takes me back. You know, and my gran there, I don't profess to be a portrait painter in any way, but this is always one that I've really sort of enjoyed doing, you know, and enjoyed looking at, because especially how I'm doing it now with my hands. My gran used to sit there with her hands like that and her head to one side, you know. It's these mannerisms. And we talk about telling portraits. And my mum, bless her, although she could be funny, she never liked having a photograph taken. She'd always look really stout. It's like always people say, you know, people are happy till you point a camera at them. And bless her, you know, I always thought it captured their sort of mannerisms, you know. And I picked it out this morning specially, and we said, didn't we, it's 34 years old. And I always go back to, that's the painting that I'd always want to remember, because it takes me back to Crossley Street as well, where everything started as well, you know. So it's lovely to have them in. It's been a nice thing to do with it as well, because when I originally did it, when my gran passed away, I took it to a funeral as well, you know. And the first place I can remember actually exhibiting was in my gran's kitchen.
Really?
And we put a little cardboard picture up, and it was a little painting that I'd framed in a little cardboard frame that I'd made myself. And I've, you know, shown in galleries, but I always go back to that time when I showed in my gran's little kitchen and a little flat, you know. And beautiful. This has moved around, and I've shown it as well at Rastrick Library, and I always used to think that they were from Rastrick. And if they were looking down, they'd think, oh, we made it, you know, we've been in Rastrick Library, you know. So it's nice to have them there with us as well today, you know, in this occasion. So hopefully they're looking down on us as well and saying, oh, yeah, it's made it onto a television programme.
Hey, absolutely.
So, yeah, that's always one. I'll always say that as my seminal painting. Mother and daughter, yeah, Lena and Bessie.
Beautiful, lovely painting, Matty.
Thank you.
Really nice. Can you share a story about your early experiences as an artist? Perhaps a story that relates to your hometown, Brighouse? I mean, you've mentioned about, you know, this one here. Do you have another story?
Absolutely, yeah, the neighbours. Yeah, again, Brighouse, it's like when my wife Helen moved to Brighouse, and she said one thing about Brighouse is someone always ever knows you. Someone knows you. Wherever you go, someone knows you. And it's always a sort of place where everyone will sort of speak to you. You know, you go in the supermarket and you'll know somebody. You go in the pub, you'll know somebody. You know, you go in the local shop, you know somebody, you know. And my first exhibition opportunity, really, other than my gran's, was actually seeing this at the shops, was at the Brighouse Co-op. And my mum was always really into the divvy. She loved the Co-op, and she got her stamps, you know, and put them in the books and everything. And when I was at Woodhouse, just around about, so it'd be about 10 or 11, and I entered a competition, and it was a scene they saw at the shops, and you had to do a painting of a shop scene. And it shows you how long ago it was, because when I was talking about the poster paints, I won £3, second prize, and it bought me a full set of paints. £3.
£3.
So it'd be fair way ago now. And it was that pride that she had of seeing it in the Co-op, you know. And there was then they used to have the food Co-op, and they used to have the clothes Co-op, you know, and the shoes and things like that, and furniture. And, you know, it was on the wall in the Co-op, and it's like you've arrived, you know. You could have been at the Royal Academy, you know, because you're in the Co-op, you know. And that was the first one. It was in the Echo, you know. You got the picture in the paper and everything. And bless her, you know, when she passed away, we noticed that she kept it, you know. She kept this paper cutting all that time, you know, and I've still got it in my records then.
That's
of course, then when I became old enough, I started going to local pub again. We got the Commercial on Huddersfield Road, which was the local pub where everybody went to. And I painted the outside of the pub, again, brick by brick, you know, really, really detailed painting. And that was shown in the bar as well. So the landlord put that in the bar. And that encouraged people, you know, to ask me to do paintings for them.
Right. And
my dad, bless him, every Thursday night used to go down to the local butcher's shop to get his pies. He always liked these 4 pies. He was a man of his routine. He liked getting his pork pies. And the guy who run the butchers, Gordon Sibley, he said, "Oh, let him come down, bring some pictures in here, put them in the butcher's shop." Yeah, and literally that showed, people were always there to support you, and there were always people who then had asked about them, And so, yeah, I've exhibited in lots and lots of different places, and it shows that anywhere can be an art gallery. A lot of people show them in cafes and pubs now as well.
Yeah.
I've shown in a sauna room.
Right.
Which is like when you go to a sauna at the local swimming baths, it's always like you're only meant to stay in a quarter of an hour at a time. So when you come out, there's these chairs and seats that you can rest on, while you're waiting to go back in again.
Right.
So I put paintings in there. Anywhere can be an art gallery.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've painted in some interesting places. I've painted in car showrooms, Brighouse Gala, every sort of way. So and it gets you known as well. Because I think as well a lot of people tend to be a bit wary about art galleries. Certainly years ago they used to think they were a bit of a pompous place. Go in an art gallery and they'd be, I shouldn't really be going in there. But if you see an art in your local pub and in your local shop, I think that's the place to see it, really.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that goes back to the support I've received from everybody, really. Everyone's so been brilliant about offering you things, come and do this. In a way to this as well, I really appreciate when people say, come and do this, come and have a go at this, and it's nice how you get that support, and that goes all the way back to across the street with the neighbours coming up and saying, "No, what are you doing? What you're photographing?" Maybe they were just being nosy, but it's nice nosy. They're interested in what you're doing.
Yeah, that's lovely. Thank you, Matty. Yeah, that's really good. So, in terms of other places where you've exhibited your work, is there any other one that's particularly memorable for you? You've described a lot of them. So, was there anything else that you particularly wanted to describe about? A special place that you wanted to tell us about?
I like the Huddersfield Art Gallery one, because obviously my life's always going to be linked with Huddersfield Art Society. I was their chairman or president for 6 years.
Yeah.
And Amy, my daughter, who's now frighteningly is 19 in a couple of weeks.
Oh, wow.
And Amy's grown up in that art gallery. Looking at photos from when she started coming to the Art Society, she'd literally only be, literally a toddler, 3 or 4 years old. And I've got photographs with her with the mayor and things like that.
Oh, lovely.
And it was a real shame, I think, when Huddersfield Art Gallery did close down, and hopefully it will emerge in another form, but I think I got it down to about 22 years in a row. We'd sort of shown there, because I think I've been in Huddersfield Art Society well over 20 years now. David will probably tell us exactly, but yeah, I mean that's always been something that's gone through. I've always been proud to show at Huddersfield, and the Smith Gallery in Brighouse as well, where I'm really happy now to be back with the open exhibition, the Calderdale Open exhibition, until April. And again, it's lovely to see that gallery being used again.
Oh, nice.
Because that was set up by Alderman William Smith, who started off sewing blankets apparently. And,
Is that right?
Yeah, so gave his money to set up a gallery. So it's all, again, it goes back to that community spirit.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
And I've always enjoyed being a member of Huddersfield Art Society and the PPC. Unfortunately, I don't get a chance to go as often as I would like to, because of how work works, But I'm always always thinking about them and still in contact with them as well.
That's lovely. That's lovely. That's a pretty impressive record, Matty, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in terms of your personal identity and your sense of who you are, how important to you is being an artist?
It's very important. Yeah, because I've never known any different, and when I have my down days and you think, has this been a success? And I don't think about it as a commercial thing.
No.
Because I would never probably have made a living at it. And I've gone full circle, really, because I started off at school painting because I just enjoyed painting pictures. And I once wrote an article and that was the title, I just enjoy painting pictures. And I think that's why you start doing it at school, because you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
Then you get to the world of work, and of course you have to find something to make money, and people say, you should be doing this for a living, and the kind and the well-meaning, you should be doing this for a living, but I don't think people realise just how hard it is to make a living as a creative person, and people have said, you've got to be 24 hours a day, and whether or not I would have enjoyed it as much had I had to do it for a living. So, but having said that, I was lucky enough to work in greeting cards for 22 years.
Wow.
So I was able to have the art and do it on the sidelines as well a little bit. 11 years ago now, 11 years yesterday, I moved into customer services, which freed me up from, I was able then to do my own work on the side, my own greeting cards on the side and publish them. And in that 10 years now, I've been able to do lots and lots of new things as well and enjoy it more. And people now are coming to me as an artist now, and I'm finding new audiences now for my work, new craft fairs that I can do with the company that I work for now.
Great.
And I'm feeling now that almost I've been released from thinking about it as a profession, because I'm quite happy doing the job I'm doing.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll be retiring, say, in the next 6 or 7 years, maybe, if I get a chance to do early retirement.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm in that thing where I don't have to worry about doing it as a living anymore. You know, I can sort of go back to enjoying it.
Yeah.
So it's like I've gone full circle.
For sure.
So then when I retire again, I'm never going to be bored when I retire, because I'm always going to have something to do. And luckily, the job that I'm doing now allows me to retire gradually. So there won't be a day where I'll just stop working.
Right.
I'll just retire gradually and do more and more of the art separately. So I'm hoping that that'll come full circle.
Perfect.
And then when I do retire, it'll give me more chance to do other things then as well, and travel around a little bit more, you know, because the one thing is that work does tie you a little bit to the nine to 5. You know, of course, you're limited to what you can do in the work days. But yeah, so I'm in that nice position now of enjoying painting again. I'm doing it because I don't have to make any money out of it. But if you do make some, it's nice. You know, it's nice to give a little bit of a hobby.
Yeah,
you know,
it's nice. It's an expression of appreciation, isn't it, when people want to pay for something? Yeah. So to sum up now, you have to sum up your reason for painting. Now, given there's a lot, it's essentially you enjoy doing it. Maybe if you could sum up what it is that you enjoy the most about painting, that is the sort of like the why do you paint? But yeah, really just to sum it up, as in, what would you say?
It's just a creative process. It's just love it. It's just something that's always there. I once had it described to me that painting isn't something you do, it's something you are. And I think it is that, where you are an artist 24 hours a day. I remember the Queen once saying, bless her, that you can't just be a queen 9 to 5, you're a queen 24 hours a day. And I sort of thought about that as well. You're an artist 24 hours a day. You know, you can sort of think of new ideas. You know, even this morning you're thinking of new ideas, thinking of new paintings that you can do. And that's the thing, it's just something that's an essence of yourself. And I think as well that you do find a diary of your own life as well, that when I look back on my paintings now, like going back to this one, it triggers memories in your mind. And I lost my auntie just on Christmas Eve, bless her. It's strangely enough, it's actual service today. And Dolly, again, was one of the first people who took one of my paintings and put it in a house as well. So there's always, and I was looking back at photos from years ago and say, oh, I remember when that happened. And a painting can sometimes trigger off things that happened in your past. You know, I remember the time when I did that painting or that exhibition. And it's always nice that you'll always be able to link paintings with your family, you know, with my dad, when, you know, I painted my dad at his place of work. And I think that's it, you know, that will be my legacy, you know, that hopefully people will look back and say, oh, I remember that happening, I remember that day when that was. So it's something where you can, you know, look back and really consider what you've done. And I'm happy that I've had that chance. I'm happy that I've had that chance to do these paintings, and hopefully there's a lot more to come.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's lovely, Matty. So thank you very much for joining us today, Matty. It's been a pleasure, great pleasure talking to you. And we wish you all the best for the future. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been lovely. I've really enjoyed it. Thank you very much indeed. You're really welcome. And to you, the audience, thank you for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to Kirklees Local TV on YouTube to get our latest videos first. And we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.